Welcome to this week's End of Days Update, coming to you from, guess where? Jerusalem, Israel. What a place this is, my friend, the city of the great King. As you walk around, it hits you just the majesty of God's creation and a city that He loves so much. And it's amazing the persecution of the Jews all over the world. It shows you how they are God's people, and we're here to bless them and help them. So we're here on this trip, a reconnaissance trip, doing several different things for a new documentary. We're going to try to get it where we connect all the signs with video and pictures, so you can show anyone you want how close we are to the coming of the Lord. So we've been blessed that we have technology in this time that we can shoot videos and get into all this, because you think about it, in Paul's day, you know, he said there 12 times he mentioned the baptism, 52 times he mentioned the coming of the Lord. For every one mention of the first coming of the Lord, there's eight times more of the second coming. So we happen to be stationed at this part just before the second coming of the Lord. We know the church is about to be raptured. We'll be caught up. We'll meet the Lord in the sky, and all of our loved ones will go before us. We'll meet them in the sky. What a reunion to see your loved ones that have gone home to be with the Lord. So we'll go up at the rapture, go to the marriage supper of the Lamb, and the reward seat of Christ, not the judgment seat of Christ. That's a mistranslation. It's the word bema, means reward seat. What's going to happen is you're going to stand before Jesus, and fire's going to hit your life, and the works that you've done that are valuable will carry over into the next dispensation. In fact, you'll wear them on your sleeves, your gold, silver, and precious stones. So He's not judging your sin there. People preach that. He's not judging your sin. He's judging the value of your works, whether you did it to sound cool or you did it because you love the Lord. So, in fact, you'll be dressed in the millennial reign how faithful you were with your works. And guess what? You don't want to be running around in the millennial reign in a Speedo bathing suit. You want to have some robes on. In fact, on your robes, there'll be markings showing that you went to church on Sunday nights, you help your pastor more, you went to church on Sunday mornings more. There'll be badges of honor that you'll wear. So right now, what a time to pick up what's been happening around the world, specifically having to do with Israel. We'll back up to what's happened today. The big part of today was Benjamin Netanyahu, Israel's prime minister, meeting with Donald Trump, and it looks like the meeting's going to go pushed off even more into next week. They covered a lot of things, but my friend, it's a pretty big deal if here we're about helping a regime change happen instantly, and along with that, you're going to have all kinds of ballistic missiles fired at Israel. So it's a very tender subject, a very, very tender thing to have to do, but changes like this are coming because of what you've seen other nations do to act weird toward Israel. So you've got so many things having to do with that it's remarkable. We have a whole other carrier group that's entered into the Mediterranean. You got all kinds of bases on alert. You got people moving from all over the place to get here to Israel right now. You have 707s moving, refueling tankers moving here. You got all this movement for everyone to get ready for a massive invasion into Iran. So along with that, the technology just got so much better. They proved without a doubt exactly where the Garden of Eden was this last week. Satellite images were able to do some things they weren't able to do in the past and showed us exactly where that was. I mean, it's kind of wild because you've got the Euphrates River running dry. Why? The kings of the east are going to come over to attack Israel one of these days. So event after event after event keeps happening to show this. And the Israeli IDF pretty much told Donald Trump Iran is ready to strike Israel with ballistic missiles. 2,000 ballistic missiles is what they said they have. So they tried to overwhelm Israel's defense systems this last time, did to a little bit of an extent, but Israel conquered and came through just like they would now. So we've really got to pay attention to what's going on, because these are days of radical change. You got different things happening with monetary systems. You got different things happening with solar flares. You have earthquakes happening again. So you've got natural things matching the harder natural things, which were nations at war. Jesus said, when you see these things, don't be troubled, don't be deceived. So in the midst of these things, don't be troubled, don't be deceived. I've heard people say, what does that mean? Don't be troubled, don't be deceived. There's one word He puts together with the rapture of the church, and that is steadfastness. So as we see all these little intricacies coming together in one nation in one time, we know we're about to see Jesus. So I said a while ago, we're going to go up to be with Him. We're going to physically, bodily come down at the second coming, and the wicked will be taken off the earth. You know that verse in Matthew 24, one will be taken and one will be left? That's not the rapture of the church, that's the second coming. So the second coming, Jesus will pluck off the unbelievers. Remember, he said, I'll let the wheat grow with the tares. At the end of the age, the angels will be the reapers. So we know that is getting ready to come. So activity after activity after activity showing how close we are to the coming of the Lord. You had some new cyber attacks that happened this week against Israel. We don't talk about that stuff very much, but even under the radar, you've got myriads of things that are happening. Of all things today on the airplane, I sat next to a news media guy that's a famous news media guy for wartime. They brought him back in here because they're getting ready for war with Iran. That pretty much freaked me out. I had the whole flight to pick his brain, so maybe next week we'll pick up with some more of that. So with all that said about how close we are, we always go to the scriptures to show us where we are. Remember, number one, Israel made a nation in 1948. Jerusalem won back in 1967. Amazing, you have the Hebrew language restored. You got the Ethiopian Jews brought back. You got the fertility of the land of Israel. You got the revival of the Roman Empire. All these things are amazing. Foxes on the Temple Mount. And you got fish in the Dead Sea. You got the Dead Sea turning blood red where Sodom and Gomorrah was. I mean, just wild. You got the Temple Mount has the bathing areas are filled back up with water, first time in 2,000 years. You got predatory birds, 172 different species of predatory birds start showing up on the land. So you've got nature getting in position, Israel getting in position, Russia getting in position. You have the Temple Mount Institute that's ready to start having sacrifices. I mean, they did do that one red heifer a few weeks ago, actually months ago, and said it was kind of fake, and it ended up being the real deal because they didn't want so many crowds. So all these things, the sacrifice stuff is ready, the nation's ready. All these different things are in position for it to come. So there's many more signs happening right now, so it's remarkable. But then you go from signs to signals. You had blood red moons on Passover and Tabernacles. Pretty radical. That's last time you had that. 4 times in a row. It's called a tetrad. Last time you had that was 1967 when Jerusalem won back, 1948 when Israel was made a nation, and in 1492 at the Edict of Expulsion when the Jews were kicked out of Spain. So you got heavenly signals. You had the Bethlehem Star this last year. So all these things are to show us time is up. This is not an escape theology. This is a hustle theology. So what do? Help our local pastor, help our local church, and get involved. This is it. Of all these things happening, there should be zero fear, absolute joy, and absolute radical strength. So let's finish our courses, let's build up our churches, let's get as many people born again as we can, and let's do the will of God before Jesus comes. We'll come back next week and we'll see what's happened with Netanyahu and Trump, and we'll find out what's the decisions that were made. We're about to see Jesus face to face. Have a blessed, wonderful week. We'll see you from Jerusalem. God bless you.
Thanks for joining us today at the End of Days Update. If you'd like to be notified every time there's a new post, just go to the edu at josephmorris.com and subscribe to receive email alerts. If these posts and updates have been a blessing to you, please consider making a one-time donation to help get the message out, or even becoming a monthly partner with Joseph Morris Ministries. Thanks again for tuning in to the EDU, and we'll see you next week.